Hey, I'm Molly.
And I'm Chuck.
And we're the owners of Namastay Hideaway, a tiny living community in Van Alstyne, Texas.
So we met on Facebook. Facebook had a dating site. Both of us weren't into dating site kind of things. I don't even know if Facebook has it anymore. But I got on there. I was on there a few weeks. Molly's friend.
My friend, made me get on there. I did not want to at all. She was like, oh, just do it to entertain me. And I was like, okay.
And so I got on there and I saw Molly's profile, and she had a t-shirt on her profile that said Gold Digger.
G-O-A-L, digger.
Yeah, Gold Digger. So I was like, oh, I love that. So I reached out and messaged her, and we messaged back and forth. And then we set up a date, and our first date was in her tiny home.
Yeah.
On tiny lots on the prairie.
That was the coolest thing to have that very first meeting date in my tiny home.
So we had our first date, and when she told me she lived in a tiny home, I was already interested in tiny homes. Me and my mom talked about buying tiny homes and putting them somewhere, or building a park or building a community or whatever. And then I met Molly, and I was like, oh wow. So it was kind of a cool fit. And then we were like-minded people. We chatted for hours and hours and hours, and it just went from there.
Yep.
They call her Molly the manifester. So she manifested, like her going to college in Missouri, or traveling, or living in a tiny home, or building a tiny home community, or meeting her husband.
Yeah, I really believe in
manifesting. So we believe in I do too.
Namastay Hideaway has been open for about 1.5 years, and we live on site with our family.
Namastay Hideaway is 3.5 acres, and it took us about a year to build.
So Namastay Hideaway is in the country, but we're really close to some major cities for all the amenities, hospitals, restaurants, entertainment. We're about an hour north of Dallas, and our closest big city is going to be McKinney, Texas. So we're in the North Texas area.
Now we would like to give you a tour of our community.
We are so excited to share with you guys the manifestation of our dreams. We're a tiny living community, and we call ourselves that because we have not only tiny homes on wheels, but we also have small RVs, and we would accept van life or schoolies.
The first thing you'll notice about our slots is that they have unique names for each slot.
And that's really because this is your home. So we really wanted to create names that have great energy and the great vibe of the community. And also the number 4 helps Amazon to make sure you get what you need.
Our lot sizes are 10 by 30 feet.
And each lot has septic hookup, water, and we also have 30 and 50 amp for electric.
Our lot rent is $5.50 a month, so that includes the water, the sewer, and the lot, and then we have internet billed separately as well. And we have fiber optic internet too, so most people I think work from home here, so it's very solid internet.
Hi, my name is Lori, and this is my tiny house. I've been at Namastay Hideaway since August of this year. I wanted to live in a tiny home for cost reasons. Tiny house living is definitely more affordable than I was in an apartment and probably paying 3 times as much just for the rent alone. That didn't include anything. So it's definitely more economical, more affordable. I like Namastay Hideaway because of the community feel of it, and the owners were very accommodating and just very nice. The dimensions are 34 feet by 15 feet, and the builder is Liberty Tiny Custom Homes in Terrell, Texas. And on the outside of the house, I have a porch that's 8 foot. I like to hang out and drink my tea and sit on the porch and enjoy the chimes and the weather and nature. And let's go take a look inside. Welcome to my home. The square footage is about 399 square feet. And I think my favorite feature of the house is the width. I like that it's 15 foot wide. I feel that it's open and roomy, and it doesn't feel like it's a tiny home. I live here with my daughter. Her room's in the loft area. And this is my living room. I like it because it fits my couch that I had previously. It's a fold-out couch, so I can also have guests come and visit. And over here is my kitchen. What I like about my kitchen is it has full-size appliances. It also has ceramic tile as well, and a farmhouse sink, and lots of windows. And over on this side of my kitchen is my washer and dryer. I like that because it's full-sized, but it's stackable, so it takes up less space. And over here is my bathroom, where I have lots of storage and cabinet space. I also have a full-size bathtub that's porcelain with a shower. And we got a full-size bathtub because my daughter likes her baths. And over on this side is my bedroom, and it has a back door, and eventually I'll put a back porch on the back. And then we have a closet with the barn door over on this side. And walking out of the bedroom, up the stairs, I have 3 drawers that's used for storage. All right, that's it for downstairs, so let's take a look upstairs in the loft. Now we're upstairs in my daughter's room in the loft area. One of her favorite features are the chandelier lights. My favorite feature is the space. It's very spacious. She even has enough room for a dresser and a nightstand and a full-size bed as well.
Before I got to Tiny Lots community, I knew I wanted a tiny home. I had rented forever, and I also didn't want to have, I'm kind of a gypsy soul, so I didn't want to have like roots. So I was like, what does that look like? And my sister and I watched a documentary, and that was probably 2016 or 2015, about a guy and his girlfriend, and they just were building a tiny home. And it was on Netflix, and my sister and I just watched it, of course not randomly, right? And I was like, this is perfect. I can own something and also not be stuck, so I can like travel around. So what I did is I just said, I'm gonna buy it. I have nowhere to put it. I have no clue. And back then, 2017-ish, there was not many communities out there, especially anything that was any close to, where I worked. So I found a place that was in someone's backyard in Grapevine, which is more kind of in the city. Well, within 2 weeks, the city was like, you can't be here, and we're gonna fine you $2,000 a day. So I went, oh my gosh, I have to find a place. So when I moved out to Tiny Lots community, and there were other folks out there with their tiny homes, it was amazing because I didn't know that the community was a piece that I actually needed as much as I needed my tiny home. In fact, the owners are some of our best friends and have helped us, of course, along the way with our journey. But I cried and cried and cried when we got together, and we're not gonna be able to live in it because we have the 2 kids and us.
Yeah,
I can't live tiny, but I want to be able to provide a place for others to live that way and also still be part of that community. But right now, we can't live tiny. The pandemic really shifted things for people that was like, what do we want to do out of life, really? Yeah. You had lost your job of 15 years.
Yeah, I had time to research properties, hundreds of properties.
Yes.
And then go look at 10s and 20s of properties. And that was like the springboard, my mom encouraging us. And my mom loaning us the money. She had the funds to be able to do that. Even if she didn't, we would have figured it out.
We went from us going like, hey, we're gonna do this, to opening the community in a year. Since we live in Texas, there are times that you might need a storm shelter. So what we decided to do is to provide 3 storm shelters, which is enough to fit all of our residents. And we don't want to have to use them, but we make sure that our residents feel safe. And we actually wanted to manifest, if we had to use them, as safe, secure, and calm, which is why we labeled them safe, secure, and calm.
When we built Namastay Hideaway, we wanted to have a sense of community and belonging and togetherness, so we built us a fire pit.
It's really hot in Texas, so we're looking forward to, from here on out, it's supposed to get cooler, and we're thinking it's going to be used a lot more.
I was the first tiny house resident in Namastay, so I moved in April of 2022. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun to be here. Like, super exciting also to see residents moving in and getting to know my neighbors and kind of establishing this community. One of the amazing things about Chuck and Molly is they're just incredibly thoughtful, amazing people as they are. And then Molly lived tiny for several years. She knew the challenges that came with tiny, and one of the dangers of living tiny is the storms that come through, right? And not having a safe place to go. Here at Namastay, we're just super fortunate that we have someone who is thoughtful to the challenges that tiny house living can bring and how to solve those challenges. It's a pretty simple solution. I mean, there's a lot of work and everything that has to go into it, but it's a pretty simple solution that, okay, we have storm shelters now for everybody to go to. You know, we all live in small spaces, so when we have pets, it's great to have a dog park so that our pups can run around. That's one of the just incredible things about, special things about Namastay, is the people behind it, because everything that they do with intention and thoughtfulness and love. They put a lot of sweat equity into Namastay, and that's what's made it so special.
We both have a spiritual background too, where we see the golden thread in all religions and thought process about. And so that was the big thing that we're really
we didn't want to be exclusive
open of anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's a bring your weirdness and come join us in our weirdness.
Yeah,
we think weird is a great thing. Like, it's really just being authentically who you are, not ashamed of who you are. And so we wanted to create that within a community.
We don't care who you love or who you voted for or who you worship. We don't care any of that stuff. Just
as long as you have you're going to be respectful and acceptance.
Yeah,
like live your life, your best life. The name really brings people in, you know, and everybody is like, that's the cool name.
And it weeds people out too. You know, people go, you're weird. Exactly.
We're too weird.
This is our community garden, where our residents work together to grow organic vegetables. We do not use any chemicals or any pesticides on our vegetables or around our pads, so that just in case you have little animals or doggies, they don't get them on their feet and lick their paw and get sick. So we are all organic here.
Like all of us, our garden is also a work in progress. It's Texas and it stays a little hotter here, so we're just beginning to figure out what works and doesn't work in our garden.
Gosh, we all get along very well here. There's a process that Chuck and Molly take to make sure that we get in good people who enjoy this, who want to live in a community like this. So the couple next to me are so sweet, and whenever I'm out of town, they'll water my flowers and stuff for me. And now I really don't even have to water my flowers much anymore because Robbie's always watering them for me. And then, you know, we work together on the garden, and it's been wonderful to work with them and get to know them, spend time with them. But it makes for a very safe place because we're all looking out for each other. We all care about each other.
I'm Robbie.
And I'm Rihanna.
And we've been living here almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in April. Chuck and Molly run the place, and they do a really great job. They care what their tenants do and what they say. They allow us a lot of freedom. There's a porch here and plants and stuff like that, and we're allowed to do that, where a lot of places you're not allowed to do that. And then there's a cultural thing that we like here that gives us the freedom of no politics and none of that other stuff that drives everybody crazy. Even when we lived in an RV community, we knew some of our neighbors, but not like we do here. Everybody has such different philosophies and stuff like that. We don't all agree on everything, but we have a pretty sensible view of everything.
I think there's a true sense of community here. Even since we have started living tiny, we've just started living tinier. I mean, the stuff we don't need is pretty amazing. We went through the transition that a lot of people who want to live tiny go through. We brought way too much stuff with us at first, and so that first year was pretty much like, okay, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that, but we do need the room, so let's get all that stuff out of here. And just over the years, we've just gotten leaner and leaner on what we have.
We've discovered a lot of DIY tricks. We as a community share those. We were talking to our neighbors over here, and they were talking about different things that they'd done. They built their deck based on what I built when I built this one, you know, and so we help each other and we talk about different things, and it's fun.
So this is our dog park, and we really wanted that for our residents that live in tiny. Sometimes the dogs need to stretch their legs. And we also have a dog, there she is on cue, there's Stevie. She's our little mascot. So she also gets to enjoy that too. We also have some various seating areas under trees and in nice places to enjoy the outdoors, because when you live in a tiny home or a small RV, you really live outdoors, and that's part of it. And so we wanted to offer that as well. And additionally, we wanted to show you that that is our house where we live on this property. It actually was part of the property when we bought it, and we did that intentionally again because we wanted to be here and a part of the community.
And over here is our septic system. It was one of the biggest challenges of our infrastructure building. In order for people to use the bathroom, we have to have a septic system. And this was something that was a big headache. They had to dig 10 feet down, a 14 feet across, 20-foot long trench to put the tanks to hold the septic system in. And that was a big challenge. To get approval for where the community was going to be built at, it's very difficult to be built in the city limits. Terry Lantrip at Lake Dallas Tiny Homes was the first in Texas to have a community in the city limits.
I think he said anywhere really.
Maybe in the United States, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was very groundbreaking. So we started looking for land to build a tiny home. And in Texas, you had to be outside the city limits and outside what they call the ETJ, which is the extraterritorial jurisdiction. So where the city could possibly grow in the future. So where we're at, we're outside of all that stuff. We're in the county, Grayson County. Approval-wise, the only thing we had to do was have OSSF, which is an on-site sewage facility. The county approved that, and we had to get plans drawn up for that.
But that was it out here.
That was it out here. We did have licensed electricians and licensed plumbers do all the rest of the stuff.
When we looked at where we were going to put it, we were like, people have to work and commute and be around hospitals, and they want to be around restaurants and friends, so we can't go too far out. We're 20 minutes from a city that's 250,000. We did go far enough out where it's considered unincorporated, so really the land itself and what we were going to use it for didn't need any approval. It just was at the point where we were going to build a septic. We have 20 lots total, And so we have an application process that's on our website, and really just pretty standard application. We do have a background and a credit check, and we have a credit minimum and a range wherein somebody could get like a guarantor if they didn't meet that credit minimum. And really, you know, the other is that we want a 1-year lease. Read the community rules, we have that on our website, and you're in agreement with that. And that you meet us and come out here first and that kind of thing.
Shake your hand and look at you.
Yeah, that's our requirements for our community, yeah.
My name is Dale. I've lived in Namastay for 1 year now. My experience here at Namastay has been a very positive one. Chuck and Molly go out of their way to help you. It does not matter really what it is. Everyone that I've met here, it's like one large community. We all help each other, we barter, and that helps a lot. There are stores nearby, restaurants nearby, within 10 to 15 minutes. But being here at Namastay, you're out in the country, and it's a very quiet, peaceful environment.
Chuck and Molly, they are amazing. They're so thoughtful and giving. They're always willing to help out with anything. When we're building our deck, like, oh, how can we help? Or even when they are coming and repairing the stairs, Chuck was over here like, oh, what can I do? You know, they're always willing to give a hand, and they're so gracious and friendly, and they're amazing.
We definitely don't see them as landlords. That's just not appropriate. I wouldn't even ever think of them like that. It's like we're living on their land, and it's beautiful. Like, it's really that simple.
North Texas is one of the most thriving, I think, areas for the boom of tiny home communities. It's been really cool to see that that's happening in Texas, that we're, you know, of all places. I think there's over 30 communities or places that will be accepting of tiny homes, which is awesome.
Even if they're older RV parks.
We don't see it as competition like other businesses do. I think that you could see it as a level of that, but again, if you're coming from a place of you're wanting to create the right community, then you want people to live in the right community.
There's a lot of rewarding parts to creating the community. Step back and look at your hard work and go, man, we did that. We built the dog park. We built the fence. We built the fire pit. We used our hands and that, and then we went in and invoiced the people. And
we learned how to make websites.
And building websites, and all that's super rewarding.
We have someone that's moving in on Tuesday. She's from South Dakota, but she has business down here, and just her saying when she got here, like, I feel like this was meant to be. And that's when you know, like, everything has been aligned. It's honorable to have someone want to go, I want to create my life in this space. Where you live is a huge thing, right? Like the people you're around, the community you're around. So for someone to actually say and choose us, then we have done the hard work. That's, you know, one of the most rewarding, and then we get rewarded with being a part of their lives and us theirs.
One of my favorite things about living here is coming home, because the minute I turn in, it's like I just like relax, and I love that feeling. We haven't had that feeling anywhere until we moved here, so that's a wonderful thing.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.